Well, Congress back on Capitol Hill. This as the Democratic debate continues to swirl over if President Joe Biden should drop his re-election bid. And Democrats were met with a message from the president indicating he wants the dropout talk to end. Fox 5's Tom Fitzgerald is live on the Hill tonight. It's nearly 2 weeks since the debate, and this story doesn't appear to be dying down.
Oh, it sure isn't, Kenneth. And Biden today vowed that he is not going anywhere and staying in this race as these continuing conversations amongst Democrats are going on about whether or not he should leave the campaign. Now, this is a conversation that appears at times to be drawing political allies apart. Case in point, Virginia. Over the last couple of days, Senator Mark Warner has been the center of speculation that he's been gathering a group of Democrats to talk to the president about possibly considering leaving the race. Well, in the last couple of hours, Warner did put out a statement not telling Biden that he should stay in the race, not saying that he should drop out, but saying that the president should aggressively talk to the American people about this campaign. Meanwhile, his colleague in the Virginia Democratic delegation, Congressman Don Beyer, put out a statement just last night expressing strong support for the president and urging him to continue his campaign. Now, up here on Capitol Hill, a lot of folks Fox 5 spoke to today had mixed reactions to all of this.
I don't think he can rebound, but I don't know how they're going to be able to shift party money that was, sent to Biden-Harris.
Playing in his race because everybody has a bad night of speech. We don't know what was going on. He could have had a cold, not feeling well. He should have probably canceled it, but he didn't. So give him a chance.
As a granddad, he should be at home enjoying his last years on life. I believe that he's been pushed in the position where he is, and it's really unfair for him.
Now, today, this effort to rally Democrats came at a couple of different forms. This morning started off with a letter from President Biden to these congressional Democrats telling them that he is not going anywhere, that he garnered 14 million votes during the Democratic primaries, and that he is in it to win it. He followed up that letter later on in the morning by calling in to the television program on MSNBC's Morning Joe, in which he seemed to dismiss questions about his age, but insists that he was up to the job and the race.
The bottom line here is that we're not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere. I wouldn't be running if I didn't absolutely believe that I am the best candidate to beat Donald Trump in 2024.
For his part, Donald Trump sent out an email to his supporters today reminding them that he's got a decision coming soon on who his vice presidential pick is going to be, and even suggesting that might just be tomorrow when it's announced. The Republican convention gets underway 1 week from today, and Fox 5 will be there. We're live on the Hill tonight. Send it back into you.
Tom Fitzgerald, thank you. That does bring us to our Fox 5 Live Instant Poll. We want you to weigh in. Here's the question. Should President Biden drop out of the 2024 election? So far, 55% say yes, 45% say no. You can vote by scanning the QR code on your screen, by going to fox5dc.com, or by downloading that Fox 5 DC app.